Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It is Friday, almost 4 o'clock, the day before the day of St. Patty's Day, and many Chicagoans have already begun to celebrate. There was a good judicial and lawyer Irish luncheon that some of our associates went to today, so hi to everybody out there. We are talking about a lot of things today. We did tomorrow, Saturday is the big St. Patrick's Day parade. And we've got several people from the firm that are going to be walking with the Plumbers Local 130. So look for them in the parade. That'll be fun. And a big hello to all the plumbers out there that we work with and know and see from time to time, especially at their golf outing. So that's going on. And then last week we had the Fight for Air Climb with the American Lung Association, where about 5 or 6 of us went, and not me, I was in California, but there were several that went and hiked up all 4 presidential towers to raise money for lung problems, lung cancer, lung issues, everything for the American Lung Association, all the things that they help out on. So our firm actually raised $1,000, which was really cool. We weren't expecting to raise that much. We thought maybe 500, but we raised 1,000. So every bit helps, and that was something that was really cool to hear about. I was actually in California at Beverly Hills giving a couple of talks on personal jurisdiction and on emerging trends in Illinois in the law. It was really great. Got to see a lot of good counsel that are usually on the other side of the cases, the defense attorneys, and some of the insurers that are behind some of the defendants that we sue. So it might seem unnatural that we would all be in the same room together, but actually it's great for collaboration, because at the end of the day, we all have to come together and figure out what to do with these cases and the situation that these people are in, and try to find a fair number to resolve the case. And a conference like that, run by Lindsay Perrin, really assists in bringing us all together. So I enjoyed it. A lot of good talks by a lot of good lawyers, and then came back quickly on Tuesday, right into the mouth of a trial at the Daly Center for Mr. Bayless and Mr. Murray. We were able to resolve those 2 cases, and we were very happy with the result. It was a lot of hard work over the last year for those 2 gentlemen. Mr. Bayless actually came to court on Tuesday, and he was able to see all the action and see a lot of the attorneys and see a little bit about what's involved in getting a case ready for trial, which is weird because you spend all this time preparing for a trial that many times doesn't happen. The good news was that we were very prepared, and the better news was that we were able to resolve it for a good number. So Mr. Bayless was very happy, as was his wife, and then of course Mr. Murray's wife Sheila was very happy to have it come to an end and get some closure, and also get a fair result for what happened. And of course, nothing can replace the loss of life or getting cancer, and money doesn't quite, not even close really, gets you to where you should be. But it's what our society offers, and so it's great to be a part of that. Now, what we are talking about today is, does mesothelioma run in families? And that's actually very germane to what we were talking about in California a little bit, and what's been talked about a lot in the litigation is the BAP1 gene mutation. And so that is something that you can look at when you do a genetic test on a patient or client. And you can see if somebody who's got mesothelioma has this BAP1 mutation, which means they may be more susceptible to mesothelioma. One of the arguments that some have made is, well, if you have the BAP1 mutation, it is why they have mesothelioma, and therefore it shouldn't be a case. But it actually turns out it's kind of the opposite, that if you do have the BAP1 mutation, you're more likely to get mesothelioma, which means you're what we would call in the law an eggshell plaintiff. So if you have a cracked skull but nobody knows about it, and I knock on the back of your head and do further damage, you're just as liable for all the damage you did, even though you expected somebody to have a normal skull but it was actually cracked. Well, the point is, I shouldn't have knocked on the back of somebody's skull. That's an eggshell plaintiff. So getting back to what we were talking about, if you have the BAP1 mutation and a little bit of asbestos gives you cancer, whereas for somebody else they would need 10 times that amount of exposure, well, the law doesn't really care. It says you were negligent to expose somebody to asbestos, assuming there was negligence involved, and therefore you're liable regardless of any gene mutation or susceptibility to the disease. So that's one aspect of how meso might run in the family, is if family members have this BAP1 mutation and it's passed down generation to generation. Beyond that, I have unfortunately represented people that are related at the same time. I had a brother and sister who both had mesothelioma back in 2005, I believe it was, maybe 2003, a long time ago. And I have seen Ms. Hutchison. She has mesothelioma currently. We handled her case last year, and her husband had it, obviously not related, but it just shows that all the exposure through the husband and then to the wife doing the laundry makes the family very connected, unfortunately, to asbestos exposure. So, but can you test for it? No. If you feel like, oh, my dad had mesothelioma, I'm likely to get it, there isn't really anything you can do as far as testing other than try to live a healthy life, try not to smoke, and if you feel like you need a chest x-ray because you have something going on, obviously go consult someone. But beyond that, science isn't quite there to do any preventative maintenance. Just have to try to live a great, healthy, wholesome life. So anyway, I hope you enjoy your St. Patrick's Day weekend. I also learned, speaking of genes and families, that I am 10% Irish, which was something that came out in 23andMe. I had no idea. I'm also Danish, also a surprise. So I will be celebrating St. Paddy's Day in a little bit higher fashion this weekend, and I hope you do too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see. Oh, one last thing before I go. I'm going to Italy next week, and we're going to see some Italians who were in the Navy who were exposed to asbestos and have mesothelioma. We're going to Bari and Naples, which is in the middle of the boot. So I may not be broadcasting next week, but now you know where I'll be. So have a great weekend. Great to see you all again, and look forward to the next time. Thanks a lot.